Recording. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to the next episode of the podcast. We are here in our living room. Karl came home from work 10 minutes ago. He said, what's up? He cut his finger at work on a can. He bled out. He lost some blood. Have you ever lost so much blood that you get dizzy?
There has been, I feel like there was one time when I was a kid where like I had a bloody nose that like just would not stop. But I think it was more like me psyching myself out than like actual blood loss. But I get dizzy every time a hypodermic needle gets near me. So
Because you told me you might need stitches.
I was not stoked on that at all.
I hung up the phone, and Justine was like, "Does he have to go to the hospital?" I was like, "There's no way he's going to the hospital." She's like, "Oh yeah, it's expensive." I was like, "No, he doesn't want stitches because there would have to be a needle inside of him."
Yeah, that would be fucking bad.
Just think about it right now. Do you get queasy just thinking about it?
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely, dude.
One time I was hiking, or not hiking, we were like in the mountains, and we were really, really high up, like 10,000 feet elevation plus, whatever. And Justine got a nosebleed from it, and we were on this like really windy road, and we were like, not around anybody. We're nowhere near like civilization, and her nose starts fucking gushing blood, and I was so scared. I was like, she's gonna fucking die. I was like, does blood clot at this altitude? I don't fucking know. It just wouldn't stop. And she was getting all queasy.
How much
pull
blood,
over?
How much blood do we have in our bodies?
At least a couple quarts. All right, well, Karl Googles that. I hope everybody's doing well.
1.2 to 1.5 gallons.
Gallons?
Yeah, it's a couple quarts, like you said. There's 4 quarts in a gallon.
And it's how many gallons?
1.2 to 1.5. So 5 or 6 quarts of blood.
How much of our blood is water? Is that why the people say we're mostly made up of water? I mean, there's water in like every part of us, but like,
I think it's not so much that we're like actually like a huge amount of water. It's just that we have such a huge amount of hydrogen and oxygen molecules. So if you break us down into what percentage of molecules we are, it's a lot of hydrogen and oxygen. A lot of times they get bonded together and make.
No way. That's not it.
Really?
I don't think so. I think we have like.
We're just.
You're
mostly
saying
water.
that like we have a lot of potential for water, like we have a lot of the same molecules. We have a lot of H
Or
and a
we
lot of O, and then they could come together to make H2O.
Do we just have lots of water?
I think we have
How
a lot
much
of
water are we? 70%?
75% or something like that. That's the ocean. Colin says that's the ocean. I think it's also people. What does Google say?
If I could type better. How much of human body is water? 60%. That seems realistic.
Yeah, all right.
Wait, okay. The brain and heart are composed of 73% water, and the lungs are about 83% water. The skin contains 64% water, and muscles and kidneys are 79% water. Even the bones are a watery 31%.
A watery 31%? That's how they described that?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
You learn something new every day.
Yeah. Yeah, you do. Anyway, Karl and I didn't come super prepared today. I know last episode I was like, guys, we're going to be prepared and we're going to do stuff. But I have a couple things that I've been sending myself. I want to get your opinion on this video. I'm going to show it and I'm going to show the people. Now, I'm not going to tell you who this guy is. I just want you to listen to what he has to say. Ready?
DAWs are only good for vocals.
Thank you. Hey, that's a real.
You got some geniuses out of there that could do it. I'm just not going to accept it because it's just something about the DAW that sound funny to me. Y'all people who making these DAWs, don't you know I got the best ears in the world. That is a sappy-ass DAW. That DAW is, I don't know about that one, man.
So that's real? Like, you really get different sounds out of different programs?
Yeah. I like Ableton. Ableton got that pop. Made me feel like when I did Justin Timberlake. Fruity Loops made me feel like I can do like the Missy type beats. DAWs are only good for vocals.
So, for those of you who don't know, this is a guy, and he's saying that Logic is only good for vocals, and it sounds corny, and it sounds like something. Logic is a computer program that a lot of musicians work in. I work in Logic. And then he says he doesn't really like the way it sounds, and then he says he likes Ableton. And then he proceeds to say that different DAWs, different digital audio workstations, have different sounds. What do you think about that, Karl?
It's true to a certain extent.
You think so? Because I think it's fucking bullshit. It's just fucking recording audio. It's not coloring the audio in any way.
But that's not true. Like the way that audio is output from their masters are different. So it's programmed as the same file type, yes, but it's still different.
Like what?
Like, think about it this way. Like, Adobe, when you're doing graphic design stuff, right, has its color spectrum, right? It's not a universal color spectrum. Like, it has its own code, like FDG7.
No, there's universal color
There is a
code.
universal one, but they don't all the programs don't use that. They have, but they're still the same colors, right? So
Okay.
it's kind of like that, where like the way that audio is coded through their masters is different. It just gets summed to the final file, which is the same file type. Like, especially when you get into like distortion on tracks, that's when it gets crazy. So like a really famous one is, that's why Fruity Loops is like the most popular DAW, especially like for hip hop and shit, because people just fucking slam the master and it sounds different than any other master.
For anyone
any
who
other
doesn't
DAW.
know what the word master is, master, Carl's referring to the master fader, which is like the master volume. You know how when you're in your car and you have to turn up your phone and then turn up your car radio, like if you are playing Bluetooth or like through the aux or whatever, the master fader would be the car radio, and then like your singular input might be like your phone volume. All right, I have another video for you to react to. Are you ready?
I do think also, though, I want to say that him saying that he can tell by listening to songs, I don't believe him.
You don't?
No, I don't believe him. I mean, like, if we're talking about like mixing like hip hop, which is what Timbaland is obviously famous for.
Yeah.
So I guess, like we said, like Fruity Loops has a sound, and that's undeniable. Like, I can tell when a beat's made on Fruity Loops versus like Ableton or Logic. But
Okay.
if you were gonna force yourself to make like an Ariana Grande song or like a Tame Impala song, Fruity Loops isn't a great tool for that because it's not a great tool for recording audio. But if you were going to force yourself to do it in 3 or 4 different DAWs and then export the mix and have it mastered by the same engineer in like Pro Tools, I don't think you'd be able to tell, you know. But that's just my opinion. Timbaland also has every right to tell me to shut the fuck up. So
I was really hoping you were going to go off about how he was wrong or something. I was really hoping to get a reaction out of you. Let me see if I can find any more inflammatory videos.
I
Let me
don't
see.
like that he said I have the best ears in the industry. That's annoying. He might be right, but shut the fuck up.
All right, I got another video for you. Let's see if this enrages you as much as it enraged me. Okay, you ready? This is a real ad that I got. A real advertisement for Masterclass.
I'm Kevin Hart, and this is my master class. Guys, this class is very simple. It's about giving you information. Information that you didn't know that you need. Well, I know that because it's information that I didn't know that I needed that I was able to obtain through things that I failed at. And after failing, well, I had to figure it out. After figuring out, I was able to focus. And after focusing, well, then I was able to succeed. Ultimately, because of the information that I now have. Don't go through what I went through. Be informed. That's why you need this masterclass.
I'm confused.
So was I.
Wait, is that just a commercial for Masterclass period, or does Kevin Hart have a Masterclass?
He has a Masterclass
What is the Masterclass?
to get his information that he has.
That's kind of funny.
It's kind of if it's intended to be a joke, It's pretty funny.
I just want to know what his masterclass is. Like, what is it?
To get his information.
Have you seen all the stuff about like Kevin Hart being the most like blatant member of the Illuminati that there is?
No.
It's like I think that it's just editing, like taking like his interviews to a different context. But like people make jokes about Kevin Hart being like Tom Cruise is to Scientology what Kevin Hart is to the Illuminati.
Do you have like an example?
Like he was talking to who's the fucking girl that won like season 2 of American Idol? Kelly Clarkson?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. He's like doing a podcast with her and she's like, I got offered a lot of money to say something that I didn't want to do. And he's just like, don't talk about that. Don't talk about anything else. We just won't talk about it. And it's like, all right, he's just probably making a joke.
Yeah.
But like the editing of the video that I saw was like, Kevin Hart's fucking lizard person, dude. But I don't know. I think it's funny. I like the idea of Kevin Hart being like,
would you want to be so famous that you got approached by like
the lizard people?
the lizard people and the Illuminati and all that?
Yeah, I want a fucking ticket on the Ark, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
that'd
I'd
be
take
nice.
that. I'd take that ticket.
I want to be on a ticket to Pluto.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could do it. All right. Speaking of famous lizard people, let's talk about movie stars. Today's topic is Karl's going to ask me my opinion on movies that I haven't seen, and I'm going to give them to you.
Okay.
Do you have any movies in mind?
Yeah. I'm making assumptions as to movies that you have or have not seen.
I haven't seen a lot of movies.
So, Castaway.
Oof. Give me the synopsis.
Tom Hanks.
That's Buzz Lightyear?
No, that's Woody.
Woody, yeah.
Among other things.
Okay.
He works for FedEx. He like flies planes or does something with like international shipping, and the plane crashes in the middle of the ocean and he is stranded on an island, and he lives on an island and survives as best he can. And it's about him and a volleyball that he appropriately names Wilson. You've heard Wilson chatter before, I'm assuming.
I thought that was Gilligan's Island.
No. No, not the same thing.
It's like the same thing, though. That's my problem. Yeah, I don't like that movie. It's too much like Gilligan's Island.
Yeah, dude. Well, you know the volleyball with the handprint and the smiley face? You ever see that image? Does that
No.
live in your brain anywhere?
No, but I think Colin was talking about it
So
recently.
him and Justine watched it the other night.
Oh, that's why.
When we were...
I've been trying to like sift through a bunch of like classic movies that I'm supposed to watch. Like, maybe I've told the story
Casino.
before. I haven't seen Casino. Is it? Let me guess. It's about a casino. It's about Vegas.
Oh, dude, you got it.
Damn, I like casinos. So
Scorsese, Joe Pesci, Robert De Niro.
I've recently been liking those kind of like, it's a mob movie, I assume.
Yes.
I've recently been liking mob movies, but historically, they're just not for me.
Have you seen Goodfellas?
Yes, I was just gonna say the one that got me into it was Goodfellas. That movie fucking rocks.
Yeah, see, you'll like Casino too. It's like Goodfellas, but without Ray Liotta,
Which one? Who's Ray Liotta?
the main guy in
Gotcha.
Goodfellas.
Gotcha. He doesn't look like a gangster to me though in like that movie. He doesn't
Like,
feel
Ray,
like
yeah, like I don't know. Yeah.
feels too much like a pretty boy.
R.I.P.
He's dead
He just died.
recently.
Yeah, Cocaine Bear was his last movie.
Oof. What's your opinion on Cocaine Bear?
I haven't seen it. I heard it was fucking
I know you haven't
hilarious.
seen it. Have you? Did you hear it was hilarious?
I did. I heard a lot of people liked it because it knew what it wanted to be, you know?
Just fucking stupid.
Yeah. It's
How
a
about the
dumb
Meg?
movie.
How about the Meg? You
Fuck
seen
that.
those?
I'll never see those movies.
But what if it's the same thing as Cocaine Bear?
Remember like Piranha 3 Double D? And it's like just a movie about piranhas killing people in a water park, but really what it's actually about is tits.
I have not seen
Yeah,
that.
it's funny.
Have we talked about popcorn? Yeah, we did. Like early episodes. It might have never
Popcorn
came out,
flicks.
that episode. Whatever. I'm going to reiterate because I know we have a couple new listeners. There's a section on Roku called Popcorn Flicks. And if you haven't heard of Popcorn Flicks, take an afternoon or an evening to go ahead and browse. You don't have to actually watch any of the movies, but it is a very, very fun time to just kind of sift through. For example, one of the top movies on Popcorn Flicks is Titanic 2. I don't know if you know anything about Titanic, but there shouldn't be a sequel. There's also our personal favorite. Well, we'll get to that one in a second. My second favorite is, what's Joey's name in Friends? Joey?
Matt LeBlanc.
Matt LeBlanc has a really shitty sitcom on Popcorn Flicks about him living with his dad and a cat, and he's like obsessed with this cat. Hang on. What the hell just happened? No. Okay. What the hell? I'm still good. He lives with the cat. And it's
What
about
the fuck is that show called? I can't remember.
Colin, do you remember what that show was called?
No.
No. I don't know. Just look for Matt LeBlanc with a fucking like Persian cat in his hand. And then the number one movie on Popcorn Flicks is Velocipaster. And it's exactly what you think it is. Velocipaster is about a Christian pastor who doubles as a superhero, and his superheroes are similar to the Hulk. However, instead of turning
Or a werewolf.
into or more like a werewolf. Instead of turning into a wolf, he turns into a dinosaur.
A dinosaur. And he eats rapists.
Yeah, there's the opening scene where like a girl is getting attacked in the woods, and
A prostitute.
a prostitute is getting attacked in the woods, and he turns into a dinosaur, and he eats the attacker. But it's a very, 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 very low budget movie. So the Velocipaster is made of like rubber, and it's very obvious. And then they show like the guy get like killed, and then they throw a fucking dummy head that looks like
rolls across screen.
It looks like they ripped it off of a fucking Macy's mannequin, and they just kind of chucked it onto screen.
It's just a big fucking paper mache dinosaur head too.
Yeah.
So, okay, here's what makes Popcorn Flicks really magical, okay, ladies and gentlemen, is that think about any good movie that you've seen that's like a low budget movie. It's like indie movies, usually they're dialogue heavy, and the story is usually just about normal people, and they're dramatic and you like them. Now, Popcorn Flicks takes the same mentality, except all of these movies are heavily dependent on good special effects, but none of them have the budget for it. So if you're a person that has roommates, likes to smoke weed a lot, and has about 2-3 hours to kill, and you're arguing about what to watch, try
Popcorn
that
Flicks.
out.
Yeah.
You'll fucking find something that you'll be laughing about for at least a couple of days. So
It's quite
you
a
know.
fucking good time. What do you look for in movies, Carl? What's your number one thing that you look for? Obviously, it's a loaded question.
Titties. No, I just like, I think a big one, I mean, this is kind of an airy answer, and I'll give a better one as well, but like shit that knows what it wants to be, which I know is like general, but like Cocaine Bear, right, is a good example of like, that's a funny fucking movie and it's enjoyable, but it's not trying to be like this astounding movie. It's just trying to be fun. Or like fucking Overlord. It's not trying to be this like World War II epic. It's trying to be a ridiculous movie about Nazis experimenting with zombies, and it just is a fucking ridiculous action movie, and it's sick. And
Yeah.
it's, you know what I mean? But like,
Knowing what you want to be in.
if you try to get lost in something that's like a ridiculous idea, but it's too serious, and then you're like trying to appease too broad of an audience, then it gets fucked up. You
That's
know?
definitely like real. A lot of the times Because, all right, I think about this a lot with horror movies. Sometimes, and I think a lot of people do this, they go into a horror movie and they have the mentality, like everybody has this capability when you watch it. Like, you put the switch on in your brain where you're just trying to poke holes in the logic, and you're trying to say why this couldn't happen, and you're trying to say why those people are stupid and you wouldn't ever be in that situation. And it's kind of like a defense mechanism where you kind of make the decision to laugh at the movie and say it's not that scary and find reasons of why it's not scary, right? It's a defense mechanism. When you watch a scary movie, I think it's really important to allow yourself a certain amount of leeway with the reality of the movie. You know? Like, you have to let yourself just don't poke holes in every little thing, because then you won't ever get scared. You know?
Yeah.
Like, Hereditary is a fucking horrifying movie. Yeah. Super fucked up. And we know people who are like, that was so fucking stupid. And they went to the theaters with like a group of like
Who the fuck
fucking...
said that?
You told me about them. I forget who it was, but you said they went with like a group of like 10 people and they all were like making fun of the movie the whole time. And it's like, well, of course you weren't afraid of it. You were 10 of your friends and you're just fucking like joking the whole time. You know?
I think another good example of the point I'm trying to make is if you compare the shit show that is the first Suicide Squad and you compare James Gunn's The Suicide Squad, the second one, when he revamped it. It's like the first one, you have this like ragtag group of villains and you have Harley Quinn and she's still Margot Robbie and like these like kind of funny characters that are always bickering because they're villains, right? But then you also try to make it a drama about like Will Smith and his backstory and being like this fucked up villain, but he has a daughter and he just does everything for her. And then they try to introduce Joker as Jared Leto, and he's supposed to be like this menacing Joker character who ended up just falling flat and nobody gave a fuck because he was like this kind of weird campy dude covered in tattoos and shit. And had like a circle of candles and knives, and you know, like it just was trying to be like, oh, it's funny, it's cool, it's action, it's serious and menacing, but it's not. And then James Gunn came and was like, this shit is supposed to be fucking silly. John Cena and Idris Elba are going to argue for an hour and a half, and it's going to be crazy, and it's going to be rated R. And I'm still going to get a lot of people to go see it because it's going to be fun. And it was. It was so good.
Yeah. The second one is great. I saw a movie recently. It was on Netflix. It stars Chris Hemsworth. And... Justine just yelled Extraction. Extraction is really fun.
Extraction is fun as
Extraction knows what it is.
Yeah.
And it goes, it's... not anything except for guns and explosions.
Yeah, it's
no,
sick.
not Extraction. Spider something. It's about.
Is that the one with Miles Teller?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. I saw Miles Teller. He drives a fucking Ford Raptor, I think.
Yeah. I drove it.
You drove it?
Mm-hmm.
When Karl and I valeted for the famous and rich.
Yeah.
What a trip. But it's about spiders. I think it might be called, but whatever. Here it is. This is what it's called. It was a really, really great movie, and it's about this like experimental fucking facility, and it's really dramatic, and it's very interesting, very dystopian. And then in like it, I'm gonna spoil it. So if you don't want to hear, fucking go forward. The last like 15-20 minutes, it just turns into this super corny fucking like action sequence, and with like a lot of weird comic relief that felt so out of place. And it completely ruined the movie for me. It was very obvious. It was like in Act 1, Act 2, and then Act 3 they're like it was like a fucking Scooby-Doo chase scene. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, good movie until the end. Good movie until the end. We're getting a little close to our end here, Mr. Williams. Getting a little close there.
All right, let's just shout out some fucking movies that we thought were sick as fuck in the last 2 years.
The Creator.
I didn't see that.
Great movie. It's kind of pro AI. Makes me feel weird, but that kind of is why I liked it. I was like, ooh, shit. It's like...
All right, don't give too much away. It's a relatively new movie.
It's cool.
Fucking, I mean, this isn't a new movie, but it's new to us. Fucking Tombstone. I think about Tombstone like...
Which one was that one?
The one with Kurt Russell and Val Kilmer and Sam Elliott.
Great. We had a little Western kick. Another one?
Tombstone is the coolest movie ever, dude.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a slow start, but you can ride on just the fact that everybody in it is just cool.
Yeah, dude. Tombstone rocks.
But then it turns into like fucking insane.
Fucking 310 to Yuma.
310 to Yuma's a banger, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't seen the original, but the remake with Russell Crowe and Christian Bale is fucking wild.
Solid.
The Menu.
Great
The Menu.
flick.
The Menu is one that I feel like I heard a lot of 50-50. Like a lot of people didn't like it. I thought it was awesome. It's like
Who the fuck didn't
Chef's
like it?
Table meets The Most Dangerous Game, which is sick.
That was a very fun movie.
Yeah, it was so cool. And fucking Ralph Fiennes killed it. He was so good.
That's Voldemort.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's Voldemort.
Mm-hmm. You still haven't seen Everything Everywhere All at Once.
No, I haven't, but I heard it's amazing. I gotta watch it.
Yeah.
I gotta watch it. Do you think acting is an art that you can fully appreciate?
Yeah, because I think if I tried it, I would be just absolutely fucking horrible at it. Like I don't know. I mean,
I'm gonna make this point quick because I know we're running out of time here. But one of the things I thought about is, for me personally, I have a hard time appreciating an art form until I've tried it. And like, I took like one acting class in college, and after that acting class and understanding what these guys are doing a little bit and how hard it is made me appreciate like really good acting so much more. Same thing with like stand-up comedy. I think it's the same thing with like musicians. Like, I think a lot of people who are fans of music, like, we're obviously fans of music because we are musicians, but these other people, they're like they kind of understand the art form. Right? They maybe understand how things are recorded or how songs are written. That's why a lot of musicians are big music fans. But even if you think about like Swifties, like Taylor Swift fans, the reason they're so obsessed with Taylor Swift is they like understand that she's like writing about her life and stuff. You know what I mean? So they like kind of try to learn about her life in order to better understand her art. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Yeah, dude.
I mean, that point, I do understand what you're saying about Swifties. It's losing me a little bit in the analogy going back to like understanding that acting is difficult as fuck. But I hear what you're trying to say a good bit.
I kind of lost myself there a little bit.
Yeah. I can't wait for Oppenheimer to sweep the Oscars, bro.
Oppenheimer is an amazing movie.
Oh, dude, I got told today that Joaquin Phoenix's Napoleon is garbage, like laughable.
Yeah, I heard it was bad. It looked so good, unfortunately.
Yeah. So we're 1 for 3 with the historic biographies.
I think we gotta wrap it up here. Yeah, Oppenheimer fucking rocks. Any closing thoughts, Karl?
Peaky Blinders also rocks. Go Cillian Murphy. You know.
All right.
Sick.
See you next week.
Toodles.